16th floor
of Elite Plaza at 15 Khorenati.
Hello, and welcome to American in Yerevan. You were listening to 103.0 Radio Van with Ina MK.
And Steven Oxner. Steven, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Missing you.
Yeah, I've been missing you. It's
How
great
was
to be
it?
back.
Was it cold in Moscow?
It was colder than it is here, for sure. But I had a warm feeling from many of the people I met while I was there. So
that's cool. But tonight,
nonetheless, I'm quite happy to be back. As our guest says, as an Armenian by choice.
ABC.
An ABC Armenian.
And we feel really warm tonight in our studio because we are hosting Proud Armenian, fundraiser, entrepreneur, and just an amazing person, Nina Hovnanyan.
Welcome, Nina.
Well, thank you.
How are you feeling this Friday?
I'm feeling like I'm glad the week's over.
Oh, there's another one, TGIF.
Yeah, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
Well, for us, it's still a working night. But we hope we'll make it fun for you so you can just have a rest and enjoy our evening.
Okay.
Yeah, so sit back, relax.
I am sitting back.
You are sitting back. And you can see this if you would like. If you go to our website at radiovan.fm, we have high-tech technology here in the studio filming us as we speak.
Where?
Right there. There's a camera over there.
Right there.
There's a camera over
right
here.
There.
There's a camera right here.
Right there.
Yes.
Oh my
and they're
God.
all, can you imagine broadcasting this at this very minute?
So yes,
So-
Nina, you can tell
Okay.
your friends to go on www.radiovan.fm and watch you on air online.
Okay.
And as far
Watch
as I
me,
know,
you
that
guys.
some of these friends might be located in New Jersey. Is that right?
They could be in New Jersey or New York, anywhere actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Could they be in Bangkok?
Maybe.
I think quite possibly.
Yeah.
We read your bio earlier today, and we're
Oh, you
very
did?
excited to talk about all of the things that you do. I don't think that we'll have enough time to touch it all because there is quite
There's a lot of
that
ancient
you are
history
involved
there.
in. A lot of ancient history.
Come on.
Well, it wouldn't be American in Yerevan without talking about ancient history.
Okay,
That's
good.
for sure.
That's true because Yerevan is ancient.
So stick around. We're here until 11 p.m. as always on Fridays here on American in Yerevan.
And don't forget to call us 560-901 to ask interesting questions to our guest, Nina Hovnanyan.
Yes.
Are back in American in Yerevan.
Nina was about to pour
It's about, oh my tea.
her
Yeah, we
tea.
should have warned you. Don't drink your tea during that jingle.
Yeah.
We are here on this wonderful Friday evening with Nina Hovnanyan.
Hovnanyan.
I'm sorry,
He's American in
Hovnanyan. I
Yerevan.
know,
It's okay.
And we're so happy that we get to speak English with people because I miss English in my life.
I can imagine.
And I speak English
I've experienced that.
I speak English with Ina a lot, but it's only twice a week. And whenever we get another person in the studio, it's always a special treat for me, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I can totally imagine.
Because you are not from here.
No, I'm from there.
Your blood is from here,
There.
but your body is from there.
Yeah, exactly.
The roots are from here. The tree is from America.
From America.
No, the roots are actually from Western Armenia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
yes.
it's really
Yeah.
your
So this
ancestors-
weekend is a very significant
I
weekend
see, yes.
for people like me.
Of course.
Of course.
Because, well, for all Armenians, it doesn't matter where you're from, but really specifically for our family. I mean, not for our family, but, having moved back, it's very touching. Last year, this weekend, I had cousins and aunts and uncles in town. It was really cool.
Yeah, by the way, I met one of them
Yeah?
at Tufenkyan. I think Shant?
That's my brother.
Yeah, your brother.
Wow. A year ago.
No, he
like
was
couple
here
of days
2 days
ago.
ago.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
it's
see.
he flies in and out a lot.
And I found out from Yesai that he was your brother, and I was like, oh, you should have told me earlier. I'd say I know Nina. But
Yeah.
he left it.
We met Yesai a few nights ago at Tufankin. It was great.
Yeah.
And just as a plug, on Wednesday we are going to have this mysterious acai here in the
Yes.
studio as a guest as well.
Oh, and you're going to have
So on
Mysterious
Wednesday.
English
guy
with a
from
French
France.
accent.
Yes. We have the
How
whole
very
platter of
shishi.
English. We have
Very nice.
English with Armenian accents, English with a New Jersey accent.
Yes.
Actually, you don't really have a New Jersey accent at all.
I don't.
Did you?
What's a New Jersey accent?
New Jersey.
Oh, come
New
on. That's
Jersey.
fake. That's fake.
No, I've heard it. For sure. Oh, yes.
I don't
Maybe
think...
it's only pockets of New Jersey.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's not all of New Jersey.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you're from New Jersey.
I'm a Jersey girl.
You're a Jersey girl.
But I moved to New York when I was very young.
At what age?
17.
17.
Yes.
And what did you move across the river for?
University.
University.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And you studied, as far as I understand, at Columbia University.
Yeah, I
correct?
studied at Columbia, and I had a good time. It was a good place to be at the right time. It still is. Columbia is always good.
And
but-
what was your major when you were studying?
I was studying something called Foreign Area Studies with a concentration in art history and diplomatic history.
Okay. And I'm tempted to ask you the question, what led you to that kind of a choice at 17 years old?
Well, I think that, I don't know. I think that because my parents were always talking about Armenia and what happened to us, I was very determined to become an international lawyer.
Okay, yes.
And then I
because you had-
discovered I was in love with art history. So,
Okay, so what it ended up being was a study of yourself in a way, of
Yeah.
your own history, a
yes.
study of art, something that you loved, and a study of what you thought you could do something with, right?
Yes.
So that was the kind of
Well, I just sort of
trilogy.
my life is sort of like I've fallen into it.
okay.
It was there and I fell into it.
What a great way to live.
When I was at Columbia, I had a friend who was a classical musician whose boyfriend was an art collector and he was starting an art academy. So he needed somebody to help with clerical work. And then I started helping him fundraise. It was the New York Academy of Art. And he was this extremely eccentric man who was best friends with Andy Warhol.
Okay.
Wow.
And on weekends, we used to go to the flea markets together, and they would buy all this. I thought it was garbage, but they would they would like just go and scavenge, and they would collect 1950s cookie jars and stuff like that, and I would just like sort of troop along with them. We'd go to art auctions, and I met all these artsy people, and I said, well, I really like this. So
The scene, the people.
the scene, the
adventures
people,
at the flea market?
the intellectual stimulation was
Yes.
outrageous.
I can only imagine.
It was fantastic. And so, I just fell into this art history thing. And then a friend of mine had a crazy idea. Mm-hmm. He was a film producer, and he wanted to put music videos. This is like in the early 80s. He wanted to put music videos in movie theaters as small entertainment before the feature film. So I introduced him to my brother, who said, okay, I'll finance that, and Nina can help you with it. And so that was actually my first job, and
steps.
I was still in college, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, we met all the rock stars. We got to go to the MTV Video Awards, and it was a perfect job for me at the time.
So this is how you started to get into this, area of all the creative
Yeah.
people.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about marketing and sponsorship. And I think we were maybe one of the first companies out there that really pushed for cause-related marketing, because it was very, very new in the 80s. And we had huge sponsors like FedEx and Kodak. I don't know if anybody knows what Kodak is anymore, but it was a film company. And we worked with Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, and it was a lot of fun.
So this was really, in a way, the beginning to everything that you do now.
Yeah.
And you fell into that quite early and just continued.
It just like went from one thing to another, and then I was doing marketing for my father's real estate company, and then I was still fundraising for all these charities in New York, and a friend of mine said, I want you to do this for the Princess Grace Foundation. And I said, okay. So I went and started fundraising for them. And then along the line, I started designing.
I think we'll speak about that more detail when we come back.
Absolutely. When we come back, continuing this interesting story of your life.
I have a lot of interesting rock and roll stories of this, stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, we want to listen
Maybe
to
listen to
some of them.
listen to those rock and roll stories and to the rock and roll bands that are attached to those stories. Okay. For now, we'll go to a short advertisement break and then listen to some songs. Don't go away. We're still here till 11 p.m. on American in Yerevan.
Call 560-901 to ask questions to our guest, Nina Hovnanian.
Radio.
Listening to Mikael Vaskagnan here on American in Yerevan.
And having some fun here tonight.
Yeah, dancing about the room. Talking about the developing aspects of this great country that we live in. Yeah.
And I wanna tell you one little secret, Steven.
Okay, what is it?
I've been working with Nina for about 3 years.
Only 3 years?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah?
Yeah, it was 3 years. And then
It was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was so much fun.
What did you do? What were you involved
It was
in?
ATDA, Armenian Tourism Development Agency. It was one of the best and the funnest
It was really fun.
times of my career. Of my, such various and different career. But yeah, it was so much fun. And it was tourism, but wherever you had to communicate with Nina, it was always about creativity. Like whenever we had to see her for, to discuss certain questions or just take papers to her for
To sign.
sign.
They would bring in
a pile
stacks of papers and say, do you have 6 hours?
6 hours for signatures.
And she was really in the middle of this crazy creative brainstorming with herself. She'll go like, what? Okay, so she, as far as I remember interacting with her, she has always been in this creative process for kids for most of the time, doing all these shows and clothes for kids. So I would like to ask you, Nina, now to speak a little bit about this part of your...
It's part of my life?
Yeah. How did it all start? How did you end up here and inspired by
Well,
what?
when you grow up in America in an Armenian family, mostly Armenian families living in America, their grandparents went through the genocide. So this Armenian identity is very critical to who you are, your self-identity. It was one of the first things that everybody knew about me, anybody knew about me, was that I was Armenian. And all of a sudden, halfway, just as I was becoming an adult, Armenia is free and independent. So, of course, I had to come and check it out. And I fell in love with it. It was just magical as far as I was concerned. Despite the fact that there was no electricity and it was just really dire times for Armenia, I fell in love with the spirit. I fell in love with the fantastic artists, and the cultural scene was fabulous, and I just felt like I have to be here,
The call of blood.
Yes,
The
exactly.
call of blood.
It's this magnetic pull. Someone told me, it's because it's in your DNA, and I think that that's about as right as you can get
describe.
it.
You feel this pull.
Yes, this pull. So I started, I was working at that time at the Princess Grace Foundation, And I started designing clothes because my closet was bursting with clothes, and I went to this event and I was wearing this gown that I had spent a fortune on, and I looked across the room and there was another woman wearing the same dress, and I said, "Oh, this is terrible.
I need to fix that.
I have to fix that." So I found a seamstress and I designed a gown. And then when I went to the next party wearing my design gown, everybody said, "Where did you get that?" And I started designing.
Oh.
So I started designing evening gowns. I mean, most people start with the easy stuff. I started with the hard stuff.
So you like challenges.
Oh yeah, I love challenges. And I felt like I was born again when I started designing. It was just incredible. And when I came to Armenia, I fell in love, and I said, I have to do something here. And then my parents were sponsors for the first Biennale in Venice. And the artist studio there were a bunch of girls who were artists. Mm-hmm. And I said, I need to find somebody who can do beading and embroidery. And they said, let us try. And they did. And that was it. And at the time, actually, I had started working in Russia because the seamstress who I was working with in New York started selling my designs to her other clients. And I said, you can't do that. And and I went out for the day that happened. I went out for dinner with Kotik Orbelian, and he said, well, what are you worried about? Come to Russia. I'll set you up with tons of fabulous ateliers. So I was working with the Bolshoi, the Mariinsky ateliers, and the Smolny Theater costuming ateliers, and they were doing all the sewing and stuff for me. It was great. And then it was 1995, and Karekin Vehapar the first, Karekin, was like an uncle to me. He said, what are you doing in Russia? Armenians need jobs. Bring your work down here. So I did. Packed everything up and came down here.
And this developed into, as well, a line of clothing for children. As far as
well, the children, I had kids, so. And it was so much fun, It was,
So you were designing, first of all, for your children.
Yeah.
Wow.
My kids, and then my brother had kids exactly the same
models.
time. Yes, exactly.
Wow, yeah.
So we were designing for them, and then other people said, where did you get that? And I was like, well, us. And then we started designing for everybody.
Is it hard to work with kids?
No. Are you kidding?
4 kids.
No. When you work with kids, you're not working.
You're playing.
You're just having fun.
Yeah.
And their curiosity
personality
is the best. They have the best curiosity. I mean, their curiosity makes you see the world in a different way. It's so
you learn from them.
Mind expanding,
It's
great.
as if you have a channel to something that, well, in my personal experience, I forgot.
Yes, exactly.
Something that I've just forgotten over the years.
Exactly.
And now I get this channel through which I can remember.
Yes,
those
exactly. It's like a restart.
Yeah.
It's like a restart button.
Yeah.
Every time they ask you a question or they point something out to you. It's great.
What a wonderful thing to bring whatever circumstances of your life are around into your work and just be constantly in this developing cycle, it seems.
Well, I fell in love with everything, the Armenian alphabet. I fell in love with all the manuscript painting, and it looked like jewels to me. And at the time I was doing a lot of beading with these Swarovski stones and stuff. And I started experimenting using these paints on transparent materials, and everything started coming alive. It was just magnificent. Using that local vernacular in it was like haute couture, Armenian haute couture. It was fantastic.
So it had an Armenian flavor, but had almost like a school from Europe.
Exactly.
A designing school.
And the reaction
synthesis
of the by clients from, I had a shop in Aspen. We were talking about Denver before. And I would take it to Aspen, and these women would go wild.
I'm sorry, we have a caller.
No
Can you
way.
imagine? We have a caller, and I think it might be an international caller. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, maybe it's not. It might be our favorite caller.
Your favorite?
Who are we speaking with?
You are speaking to Yerevan again from UK. How are you?
Oh, hello,
Oh,
hello.
hi.
Yes, how are you?
This is Yeva
Yeva.
from UK.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I'm very happy to see you. You are a very beautiful woman, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, since she's in the UK, she watches us.
Fashion designer and mompreneur. It's so nice to know that you have a profession, such an outstanding profession, and you also associate yourself not only with your profession but with the family as a mompreneur. I love it.
I think that being a mompreneur is very trendy right
A
now.
mompreneur. That's a new word for me. A mompreneur.
Yeah, I'm watching you, by the way. That's why you don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
I can see all of you, and you are all very friendly.
Hey.
Hi. I don't know where I'm supposed to
Wish
look,
we
but
could
hi.
see you as well.
Oh no, you can't see me.
Well,
I'm a very busy mom. Very. I'm full of excitement and tantrums, baby tantrums, and everything. So
Is your
I'm very far from being look like smart. But never mind. Maybe one day when my kids grow up, I will manage to look as smart as you are there.
do you have a question to our guest?
What is work?
Oh,
We have a
cannot.
kind of bad connection.
Yeah, we cannot
Yeah.
hear you.
One more
really well.
time.
I used to know your late father.
Oh,
Afterwards, he invited all of us with the church youth organization, and he offered me to play golf. Love with golf very much. And
Yes.
He was telling us everything, and the invitation was beautiful, and the way he was talking to us, and all these impressions, I will never forget that. Although it happened many years ago, but all that warm welcome was so nice for all of us, and I can see you have that warmth from your father as well, and it's very nice. I like that.
thank you. That's a great compliment.
Yes. My question is, how well did you find it difficult to fit into Armenian society after living in America and being brought up there? What was the most difficult challenge, let's say so, for you? What was the
Most difficult challenge?
to move to Armenia?
what was the difficult? The society?
I think it was mostly the language, I have to say, and I was moving from New York, and it was tough because there weren't any of the conveniences there are now, and but on the flip side, there were things that were wonderful. I mean, the people were so warm and hospitable and creative. It was like living in Paris in the 20s, you know. It's just this incredible, wonderful, creative cultural exchange between writers and filmmakers and painters. And I felt like I had dropped into heaven. It was because of this extreme amount of intellectual stimulus that you sort of ignored the fact that there wasn't any conveniences. You know, everybody just sort of put their head down and moved forward. And I sort of miss that. I sort of miss I miss that warmth because, you know, civilization and development has a lot of drawbacks. The traffic now, before there were never any cars on the street, and the sky was perfect, and there was always a million rainbows after a little bit of a rain. There's still a lot of rainbows, but there's traffic now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and somehow you don't get to see all your friends all the time because everybody's busy.
Yeah, but
They
it's
all have
running
things
so
going on.
Yeah,
now.
it's sort of, you know, it's a drawback. I felt like I had gone back in time and I was enjoying that slow pace, and it was wonderful. So
Thank you for you being in Armenia, because we need people, more people like you, who are in love with Yerevan, who are in love with Armenia. We really do need lots of people like you.
yes, we do. We need lots of tourists.
yeah, exactly.
So tell all of your friends in the UK
Yes.
that they can come on trips.
And you as well,
And
by
you
the
as
way.
well, come on back.
Well, thanks for your call, and would you
All
would you
the best.
you
Thank
too
you.
you
Thank
too
you,
thanks
you
a
too.
lot. Is there any song you would like to listen to tonight?
Anything that was written or sung by Prince, because I used to love him.
Okay,
Yep.
sure.
We were talking
Yes.
about that
We
earlier.
were talking about him, yes. We'll put something on from Prince as soon as we come back.
For you. Thank you.
Oh!
Oh, who's that?
that? Another caller.
Another caller from UK, little one. Okay, have a good night.
Thank you again for calling, and thank you for listening to American in Yerevan on 103.0 Radio Van. We'll be back after a short break, and we're still here till
Fine.
This
Oh, you
is
know what? I
American in
forgot.
Yerevan, and we are on an English-speaking show here every Wednesday and Friday. You may have heard some multiple layered English at the very beginning of this.
Yeah, English. Oh, you know
Because
what?
we
I
are
forgot.
sitting here with a wonderful English speaker, a native English speaker, and so close.
And very yummy Armenian speaker. I would
A
say.
very yummy
I'll
Armenian
call
speaker.
it that way.
Oh.
Yummy Armenian. Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
describe this yummy flavor of Armenian, because I don't hear it?
It's
Nineren.
it's
Nineren.
Nineren. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
my special
It's
blend.
Nineren.
It's a special cocktail. You cannot.
Minsky,
With a
Paninsky.
secret recipe. With a secret recipe. By the way, our let's say thank you
Yeah,
to our
let's
official
talk about our
sponsor,
Yes.
Mosaic Sky Restaurant. They keep sharing with us all kinds of nice recipes about what about their kitchen.
And we keep making them at
yeah.
home.
Yeah, right. We cannot.
No, they don't tell us the entire recipe. They
Okay.
tell us
Yeah.
a certain portion of the recipe to give us just a little bit of a taste and
tease
get us
us.
there to
Yeah, but
drink
we
more
try.
and eat more.
Oh, that
keep
sounds
trying.
fun. Where is this place?
It's on the 17th floor of Elite Plaza on Khorenati, 15 Khorenati.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like dining in the clouds, we say.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
that
really
sounds
is. It's
good.
quite. It's,
I bet you're gonna love it, because on the left side you see Mountain Aragat, and from the left side, and the right side you see Mountain Ararat. You
Oh, I like
both
that.
sides, and
Yeah.
they have a wonderful view.
you can choose the mountain that you want to dine with.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think Ararat wins all the time.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Oh, and now that I'm thinking about it, their food is a lot like the fashion that you designed. Because
Really?
It's a fusion.
a very what I feel like is a very European influenced kitchen with Armenian
Elements.
little twists.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, I gotta go.
Like a
Yeah, you
mousse
really,
with
really should go.
tarhun.
Ooh,
Or I
I
don't know,
like that.
pesto mousse with, I
With
think,
tarhun.
yeah, with tarhun.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And what else they had really interesting?
They had this amazing like cocktail dessert. It was from rum and coconuts and fruits from around here,
Oh, that sounds
It's like
good.
and also like
alcoholic
little
dessert.
zeffiri, like little
Marshmallows.
marshmallows.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
that
even
sounds
have
good.
sugar-coated flowers, which I thought they were edible, so I ate them. I think I still feel like they are edible, but you know,
and I
Well,
said
you're
that
not
maybe
dead,
you shouldn't
so-
have. Yeah, I'm still okay.
and I still think it was just a design. Stephen ate the whole design of Mosaic.
That's okay.
Dessert. Okay. Well, we had a nice time there. I hope we will go back there soon.
We'll be back there soon.
Yeah. But let's go back to our guests and to our theme. And we
were talking about your English.
My English?
And I wanted to ask you because
English?
my English, yes.
English?
Because it's your native language.
Yeah.
You've written several books,
Yes.
as far as I know.
Yes.
And these books were translated into several different languages.
Yeah, they were written
but
in
they were
English.
written in English to start.
Yes.
Great.
They were written in English. Well, I worked on this, started this Armenian Tourism Development Agency. So everything is about tourism as far as I'm concerned. Tourism is very critical to Armenia's economy. And so when I started writing these books, the first book I wrote was The Legend of Dilijan, because I opened a shop there, and it's a magical place. It really looks like a fairy tale. And I just felt that it
Armenian
needed...
Switzerland.
Yes, it's
the Armenian Switzerland.
And I just felt that it needed a real fairy tale. So I was asking around for the local legends and the folklore, and it was sort of gruesome. The story was sort of gruesome. So I took the nuts and bolts of the legend, and I Disneyfied it.
You Disneyfied it. I was
Disneyfied
just going to say
it.
that
I made
word.
it really happy.
Oh, goodness.
And the hero of the story is a little bear. And when you go down, when you're driving from Yerevan to Dilijan, you go around these, down the mountain, spiraling down the mountain. And on the right side, there's this statue of this bear with 2 bear cubs.
Uh-huh.
You've seen it, I'm sure, on the right
I
side.
have.
So I said, oh, okay, that's who we're going to make the
That's the legend.
that's the hero.
That's the hero of the legend.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The mama bear and the 2 baby bears. So,
And what kind of adventures do they have?
oh, this bear is just the cutest guy. He's so cute. This little dilly bear.
Billy Bear.
He's just, he just does it. There's this little Princess Anushik, and she's just as cute as can be. And she falls in love with these little bear cubs, and the father can't do enough, the father and brothers. So, they say, what do you want for your birthday? And she said, I want one of those bear cubs. So they bring home one of these bear cubs, and they treat it like a child, and the bear can do everything. I mean,
The bear eats oatmeal.
yes.
The bear sleeps in the bed.
Well, the bear goes to the puppet show in town.
Goes to the puppet show in
Oh, yeah.
town.
The bear goes to the library.
Awesome.
He does everything. So, I'm not going to tell
Are
you
you
the
going
whole
to tell
story.
you? Yeah,
I'm
that's
Yeah.
not going to
what
tell the
I'm
whole
going to ask you.
story.
Are you going to tell
Doesn't
them?
the
anyway, so-
mama bear come back for revenge? They
No,
stole her
no.
child.
No. It's all in there. You got to read the book.
Okay.
So anyway,
So
I
if you want to
can.
read this book, you can purchase it at...
Treasures of Armenia.
Treasures of Armenia.
Well, in Dilijan,
Yes.
and I think it's in a few bookstores, but it's going into reprint soon. And it was printed first in English, Russian, and Western and Eastern Armenian. And now we're doing French, Italian, and German.
Wow.
So
Great.
that, all our tourists
Dilly Bear all
can-
over the world.
can learn our legends.
You're
and then
promoting
the next,
Dilly Bear.
and the next book that I did was the story of Noah's Ark, because Mount Ararat is crucial to Armenia, and we feel like it's ours. And every child loves the story of Noah and his animals,
Yeah.
So, and we did the toys to go with
Yeah,
everything.
that's what I was going to say. Please speak about the toys.
So
as
we
well.
have these, the Noah's Ark book is only in English right now. We've only printed it in English, but it has finger puppets of all the animals, and it comes in a little Noah's Ark crocheted bags. So they have all these 100% cotton finger puppets with the Noah Ark bag and the book. So, it's all about the kids.
Yeah. And I know that you have some other production besides the children's books and the...
Yeah, we did some, for the...
Yeah, could you
Everything is hand painted and hand done. So we started with all this new printing capabilities. It's even better now. We started printing the images from the books on the clothes, and we could do like sheets and towels and everything for the kids.
Well, we'll talk more about this, I think, because we'll go to a break now, but I would like to hear more about it. I know,
Okay.
it's always too little time.
Yeah.
But we're still here till 11 on American in Yerevan with Inem K.
And Steven Oxner.
And
Nina Hovnanian.
Frank Sinatra.
One of Nina's
And when Frank
favorites, I
Sinatra,
think.
it was amazing because it was like some instrumental, something almost just like drums at the very beginning of that song, and you were like, is that Frank?
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as you asked, is that Frank? You have to have some stories about Frank
I got
Sinatra.
Frank stories.
So come on, we're waiting. We're waiting for Frank Sinatra stories.
He, let's see. He was a great singer. He liked his Jack Daniels. He liked his Jack Daniels. And
He
one
was a Jack
time,
guy.
we were in Monte Carlo, and we were sitting at this table, and he said, "So, how would I sing?" And I said, "It was great. It was a great." He had sung at the Red Cross Ball, and he said, "How was the concert?" I said, "Oh, it's fantastic, except you didn't sing my favorite song."
What is your favorite song?
And he said, "What song? What song is that?" And I said, "The best is yet to come." And he sang it a cappella to me.
Right then and
It
there.
was unbelievable.
Whoa.
Yeah. It
That's
was really
historical.
cool.
Hunk.
It was amazing.
That is something.
His wife was ready to
amazing.
kill me
Yeah, I believe it.
because he doesn't sing without getting paid. So
Yin, I would like to ask you, what was it like to be an Armenian in America? Because our show is American in Yerevan. So I'd like to ask you the opposite.
it was
Feeling.
fantastic.
Well,
I,
Armenian in America.
oh yeah, it was fantastic. I have to say that anybody that ever came into contact with us, with my brother, my parents, everybody wanted to be Armenian. And so this idea of ABC is everyone wanted to be Armenian.
For
Everyone.
those listeners who missed this part of our show, ABC means Armenian by choice.
Armenian
Yes.
by choice.
I think we're gonna use this one for sure from time to time.
But it because our version of being Armenian is just these Armenians are these people that are full of life, and they just want to suck the marrow out of life itself, and just take every opportunity and make everybody happy, and the best food, the best parties, the best friends, the most loyal, the hardest working, the most successful. That's what being Armenian is. And it was just a very magnetic thing for all of our non-Armenian friends to be around us. Our house was always filled with people and full of song and life and joy, and it was wonderful.
So you were kind of ambassadors in
Oh yeah,
in
everything. I mean, it was the
America.
first thing that anybody ever knew about me was that I was Armenian. So it was,
And it was kind of like envy that they knew you're Armenian. I would like to be Armenian.
no, it was just sort of
So
like
proud.
my parents would
Yeah.
adopt all our friends, and everybody, the first thing they learned how to make when they got married was pilaf, or when we were in college, everybody learned how to make pilaf, and
Cool.
it was great. We had a magical childhood. I have a lot of cousins, and there weren't a lot of Armenians where we grew up. It was us and our cousins, and we would go to church on Sunday. It would take us like an hour and a half to get to church.
Wow.
And my parents made sure that we went to church every Sunday so that we would have, the spiritual,
Armenian.
connection, and we'd
Yeah.
meet other Armenians. But it was great. It was great. And at one point, I was going to school with my cousins. We were all going to the same school together, and we would talk to each other in Armenian. Mm-hmm. And it was a secret language. It was fantastic.
Yes.
So we were even more cool, if that was possible.
Because in the room, you didn't have to leave the room.
Because we had a secret language too.
And it wasn't like a secret language like French or German.
No,
it was Armenian.
Like unique
something
secret
you never
language.
understand.
It was super cool.
Foreigner.
But also, it was interesting because my parents were very active. They were very into this genocide thing, and my father insisted that all the Armenian kids take off for Armenian Christmas, January 6th, and he had these school boards allow us to take the day off. He made, the state of New Jersey recognize January 6th as Armenian Christmas. So we wouldn't get like detention or something if we missed school. And so that was even cooler. Like, you have 2 Christmases? How cool is that?
Do you get presents 2 times?
Right. So it was all very, very positive. I don't know. And then when I started coming to Armenia, everybody wanted to come too. It was the coolest thing. It was.
Is this how your idea of developing tourism began?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sure, because you had all of these friends.
Yeah, everybody wanted to come, and
how do we get there? Let us come.
We were supposed to have our wedding in September of 2001. And then September 11th happened, so it was postponed. But I had like 300 friends coming from the States.
Wow.
It was going to be a huge wedding. It was going to be the bridge,
Oh, gosh.
So it was fun. It was really, really fun. And I'm still waiting for some friends.
Still waiting for them to
but a lot of them came afterwards.
So
after they saw...
What is the feedback?
Oh, that's my husband.
Hello.
Hello?
Oh, your husband's gone. We'll be back here on American and Yerevan with Nino.
I have to hang up now. Yes,
very great and spontaneous guest here on Radio Van 103.0.
This is how creative people are.
I thought
See by the dawn's early light.
American in Yerevan.
And we're back in our studio with Nina Hovnanyan enjoying our evening. And I think, as always, time for... Can you tell that it's already 10:30?
I can't believe it.
10:30? You have this too? It's like a time warp in here.
Yeah,
in this studio?
It always happens.
You know what? It really is strange. I just looked at my watch.
Only half hour left.
Yeah. And you look and you... I know. We keep talking about it, and it doesn't change.
And I think it's good. I hope that it always stays this way, because it means that we're enjoying our time here.
Yes.
And we still expect callers 560-901 to join our conversation, but I have a question for you.
Okay, go.
Ninjan, can you tell a little bit about Vahagni?
Yes, I can.
How it was created, and about your dad a little bit.
My father was one of the first people to come over to Armenia and invest heavily here. And 2 things that he thought would really help Armenia were tourism and real estate development, because what his initial idea was to build this community so our Armenian retirees from around the world could move here and live like kings in their homeland,
like a Florida for Armenia.
Exactly, like a Florida for Armenia. And then they would get their grandchildren to come, and they would create a bridge between the diaspora and Armenia that would be like a lifelong bond for generations to come. And so he first built the golf course, and because he was a big golfer, you heard Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
His
UK confirms.
one of his great passions was golf. So he built the driving range first and a mini golf, and then now there's a 9-hole golf course. And he was very passionate about Armenians becoming big time golfers, and I think finally it's beginning to pick up. There's a golf school, and they have a whole bunch of tournaments scheduled. And then he started building the homes, and the first 2 homes that he built were out of wood, and it was like a pariah.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted wooden homes.
Wooden home.
So he said,
Why?
okay. Well, he called in this seismic engineer to come in and, devise this earthquake-proof homes for Vahakni, and now all the homes are made out of stone. And initially it was diaspora people and foreigners that would buy, and now it's 60-40 local Armenians to diaspora Armenians.
Ooh.
And it's initially we were just building our own homes, the own models, but now it's become sort of like a haven, and people buy land and they build their dream homes there. And it's just like
great.
living in the States in the 60s, because there's no walls in between the homes, and the kids are all riding bicycles and running and playing football. It's just like one
Whole
giant
community.
Awesome.
yard.
Yes.
It's wonderful, and it's safe. It's gated community, and it's just wonderful. We're planning. We just built these 2 high-rise or 4-story apartment buildings with lifts, and we're gonna do some condos so that they're less expensive or more affordable.
Sure, more affordable.
And I know that Wagner is 15 years
It's
old
15
this year.
years. It turned 15 years
15.
old this month. Yes.
Wow. So the first wooden home was built
15 years
this
ago,
month.
yes. We
Holy
did the
smokes.
What about
ribbon cutting 15 years ago on the 12th
Wow.
of April.
What about the awards? You spoke about them earlier today.
Yes,
Could you please?
We won an award.
Share.
There's a magazine in the UK called Build Magazine. And they contacted us and said, we've done a lot of research in the Caucasus, and you have the best community in the Caucasus.
Wow.
Ooh.
And the best real estate developer in Armenia, and all this, I don't know, whatever. And they sent us this trophy, and
Best
It
neighborhood
was-
construction
yes,
company.
best neighborhood construction company. Yes, so
That's
we were
great.
very excited about that. And
That
it's
is neat.
it's private. We have security, 24-hour security. We have all the communications and fiber optics and everything put in, so it's sort of turnkey, and really what I was the first resident.
You were the very first
I was the
resident.
first
Yeah.
resident.
Oh.
I was a
You
newlywed.
should see Nina's house. It's like a fairy tale house.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Especially during Christmas, it's something. Yeah, it's something
imagine.
amazing. Yeah, with the fireplace.
I love
and
Christmas, obviously, because we have 2 of them.
We have two of them.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
You've had twice as many Christmases in your life
Exactly.
than anyone in America.
And
Well, before we go back
Yeah.
to more music,
Sure.
I just have to share with our listeners, well, ask you to share with our listeners the story about naming Frank Sinatra
Oh, yeah.
in
Well,
Armenian.
We were sitting around, and everybody always wanted to know about my Armenian stuff, and they said, okay, so I said, everybody has an Armenian name, and they said, oh, come on. And I said, no, really. So Frank said, okay, what's my name? And I said, Jishmarit Tsakhyan. Because it's Frank Sinatra. And then Barbara said, okay, what's my name? And I said, Varsavir Tsakhyan.
like barber.
Yeah. No, Varsa
The
Viruhi.
hairdresser. Barber.
Varsa Viruhi.
Yeah, so everybody has an Armenian
Everybody
name.
has an
okay?
Armenian
Just
name.
Don't deny it.
And if you would
Yes.
like to find out your Armenian name and you're listening to us somewhere in maybe Colorado, for example, call us at 560-901. And until then, keep listening to our show. Ina has something she would
Yeah,
like
and
to
also you can
express.
watch us live right now on www.radiovon.fm.
So tell all your friends.
Yerevan.
That is right. You are listening to American in Yerevan on 103.0 Radio Von. And this evening, we have a very special guest who would like to talk about repatriation.
Yes.
Because
It's something that's very dear to my heart because Armenia needs repatriation. It needs every single family or individual that moves to Armenia gives a little injection of hope and a little injection of what the big world thinks of, and it gives them a glimpse of what can be. And I think that Armenia is a country that has its potential is exponential because it's not fully developed yet, and it's like a laboratory of hope because we've been around forever and we can do anything. Armenians, this is what I learned designing here. I would give the most intricately designed things and I'd say, okay, make this. And in a few hours, it would be sitting on my desk because Armenians can do. And this can do thing comes from outside because sometimes Armenians forget that they can do it and we have to remind them. And that only comes with repatriation. And we need big numbers. We need big, big, big numbers.
Come back home.
Come home.
Come home.
And if we think about it,
Aritun.
really, if we had a significant amount of people, big numbers, that came back,
Yes.
it would be amazing.
Yes, it would be.
This country would just
It
flip
would flourish.
upside down.
We saw a glimpse of what could happen when the first wave of Syrian Armenians came in, and all of a sudden there was all these new restaurants and shops and
New
and just
businesses.
a new perspective. And that's what the beauty of being Armenian is, because there's Armenians everywhere, and they adopt their new countries, wherever they live, and they bring it to Armenia, and it becomes more and more international.
It would be a global mecca
Yes,
right away.
exactly. It would be Armenian with an international flavor.
Yeah.
So the thing about Armenia that's so cool is that Armenians love being Armenian and they love their heritage. So it's not something that we're going to give away or sell out on. But just that little injection of international oomph makes it perfect. And I think the more Armenians move here, the better the country will be.
So if you have friends abroad or family members abroad, do not envy them. Tell them to envy you.
Yes.
Because they need to come here.
You can do everything here. You really can. I was discussing this with someone today, saying, years ago when I was a teenager, my first job was giving tennis lessons, and I used to make $20 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
In Armenia, you can get tennis lessons for less than $20 an hour. Like 30 years later,
Right.
So and you can take horseback riding lessons for much less. Music, you have the most amazing musicians, and you can take master classes with them for a small percentage of what you would pay in the rest of the world. So this is like being in heaven, and it's a perfect place to bring your family because it's safe. And everybody loves your children.
Oh, everybody loves your children. It's
Everybody
unreal.
loves
Steven
your
has
children.
experienced
Yeah.
that.
It's a perfect place to
great.
raise a family.
Yeah.
And the education is great. Everything is good. So for all those of you that are saying, "Oh, where should I move?" Armenia.
Move to Armenia.
It's a no-brainer.
Steven did it. Nina did it.
Yes.
Move to
Anyone
Armenia.
can.
Ina did it.
At least I came back from my
And it's-
exchange student year.
Yeah, and it's
I did
easier
it.
now than ever. I mean, before it was like really tough, but now there's an organization called Repat Armenia that helps you take care of all the stuff. They find you all the infrastructure that you need. So it's much easier. and it's time to move here.
Oh, thank you, Nina John, for being with us tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And it's time for me to plug just one short thing. I apologize, but I think that you will be happy that I'm plugging this thing on the 3rd of May.
Yes.
At Cafe Leo 52, there will be an exhibition of quite a unique art form, which I don't know how to describe because I didn't study art history in depth.
Okay.
But you saw
But
it.
have you seen this art? What
No,
would
I
you call
haven't
it?
seen it, but I've heard about it.
It's so great because it's the streets that we're so familiar with, the trees that we're familiar with, the monuments that we're familiar with, these great architectural designs that are left over from the Soviet Union and from today as well, and from even older, all painted on canvas with texture. So there's this kind of depth that you can feel almost as if you're looking at a building that has texture, but at the same time it's in no way, I would say, realistic. It has a very much like a nostalgic feel to it, or there's a lot of very tender emotions put into this artwork.
Well, I'll come, definitely, and all my friends who are listening better come.
And all of the friends of Ina's better come too, because this
Yes.
is Ina's father who made all of these paintings.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And also, it's a fundraiser.
It is a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser called Stand By, not Support. I almost said support because we were talking about it, how to translate it. Stand By Our Soldier. Stand By Our Soldier. And 50% of the profits from the sales of this exhibition at Leo 52 are going to be donated to, help me again, Racha Muradyan's family. Yes.
Yeah.
Who died during the 4th day of this war that broke out in Artsakh. The special guest of the evening will be the band, acoustic quartet, and a special, huge, gigantic thanks to the club, Leo 52, for giving all of this support for free. They're hosting this exhibition completely for free.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
So thanks to Leo 52 for supporting us, and for all the people who are in this project, because everybody were so open to support us in every way they could. So thanks to everyone.
And a very special thanks, I did not say your father's names, to Alexander Mkarchan. Again, this will be on the 3rd of May, starting from 6 p.m. It's at Club Leo 52, and that's the address, Leo Street 52.
How simple.
Quite simple. Again, 3rd of May, starting at 6 p.m. Don't miss it. Come and see this great... It's even if none of these amazingly tragic events had happened, and this exhibition just happened because Ina threw it together like she has, then it would be worth going to see, just to see this art, because I had a special treat of having the home exhibition. I got to see all of them at home. Yes, I was very lucky.
Yeah.
And it's for a
you had
great
the
cause.
artist
And it's yes.
showing the pictures to you, the paintings. Yeah, thank you, Stephen, for mentioning.
Absolutely.
And I hope to see everyone, and hope we get people to support us in this idea, because we have to support our soldier and support people who really need this, really need help at this moment of time. So thanks, Nina, for being our guest tonight. We really enjoyed this evening.
Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
Really great time. I hope it's not the last time.
No, I hope so too.
We'll see you again.
And of course, we will visit Vahagni sometime too.
Oh, please do.
Yeah,
maybe you
because
could do
we
one
know
of these
that-
art shows there.
Sure, because we know that there you have plenty of events going on there.
We have,
you have the restaurant.
The restaurant has it's under new management. Wonderful people. It's a professional event group that's running it as a restaurant, and so maybe we could do an art show there.
Great idea.
Sure, great ideas. Coming soon.
As always, listen to American in Yerevan on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on both 103.0 and radiovan.fm. Tell the world, move to Armenia.
Yes.
Move to Armenia.
Come home.
Master of the song.